This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 1351, Where the Bar is Set by Tynan of Tynan.com. And I'm your narrator, Justin Malik, reading you blogs or articles every single day of the year to help you live a more meaningful life, covering personal growth, self-help, minimalism, productivity, happiness, and more. Before we get to it, small business owners wear a lot of hats. I know I do. And while some hats are great, others like the filing taxes and running payroll hat are not so great. That's where Gusto comes in. Gusto makes payroll, taxes, and HR actually easy for small businesses. Gusto automatically pays and files your federal, state, and local taxes, so you don't have to worry about it. Plus, they make it easy to add on health benefits and even 401ks for your team. Oh, and you get direct access to certified HR experts too. Get started now, the earlier the better, so don't wait. Let Gusto make it easier on you. I did. I've been using Gusto for a long time and love it. As a bonus, listeners get 3 months free when they run their first payroll. This is one hat you're going to be glad you gave up like I did. Try a demo and see for yourself at gusto.com/old. That's gusto.com/OLD. Gusto.com/old. For now, let's get right to the post as we optimize your life. Where the Bar is Set by Tynan of Tynan.com. I have a rule for myself that I have to shut my computer off at midnight every day. I allow myself to stay up until 3, which means that after cleaning the RV and scratching a bit on the violin, I have 2 hours and change to read. So I read a lot of books. Usually I read nonfiction, but after a spell of 3 or 4 books about the brain, I wanted to read some fiction. With no particular title in mind, I went to Amazon and bought a book that was then the #1 editor's choice and a New York Times bestseller. With both awards, it must be pretty good, I thought. The idea for the book was interesting, but the actual plot was poorly constructed. The foreshadowing was so obvious that I couldn't help but hope that it was a red herring and that the actual twist at the end would be something more interesting. It wasn't. Worse, the author made so many amateur writing mistakes that I actually found it hard to read. Things like using a lot of adverbs and using difficult words that aren't more descriptive than the simple ones they replace. It was a disaster of a book, yet it was successful and fairly well liked. I thought about how that could be possible and came to the conclusion that the bar for writing a good book probably isn't set as high as I would assume. And under scrutiny, that actually makes sense. How many people would like to have a published novel with their name on it? Probably a lot. How many could come up with a decent idea for a story? Still, probably a lot. How many would have the confidence that they could get a book published? We're starting to lose a lot of people now. Of those with the confidence, how many have the free time to sit down and write 70,000 words? Not too many. Out of those we have left, how many also have the discipline to power through writing that much and resolving the problems that crop up during the process? Almost no one. That's how a fairly poor writer, in terms of writers, not in terms of all people, can publish a very successful book. The bar just isn't set that high. For a totally different example, look at how our society eats. Eat a granola bar globbed with sugar and you're eating quote-unquote healthy because you didn't eat a full-on candy bar. Did you get a ranch-smothered salad with your pasta alfredo? Good job, healthy eater. People eat such trash as a matter of habit that the slightest deviation from that diet seems like a real accomplishment. The bar is set low. Work is another great example. Forget about a 4-hour work week. If you have work that's important to you that you're trying to complete, I think that a 40-hour work week is a joke. I never go a day without doing some work, including weekends and holidays, and usually work for between 80 and 100 hours every week. The funny thing is, I'm actually trying to push myself harder because I think that even this amount of work is slacking a bit. A low bar is a dangerous thing because our expectations have a tendency to hover around whatever standard is presented to us. There have been studies done where an item, say a toaster, is shown to 2 groups of people. Members of the first group are told that the toaster retails for $200 and then asked what they'd be willing to pay to take home the toaster today. The second group is told that the toaster retails for only $20 and is asked what they'd pay to buy it immediately. The $200 group is always willing to pay more. Same toaster, but a different bar. So when we hear that 40 hours of work is the right amount, we feel like we're killing ourselves if we're working 50. When we're told that wheat bread, which almost always has sugar and white flour in it, is healthier than white bread, we buy it and call it a day. This is not a good way to live. We are capable of so much and waste our potential in front of TV screens while poisoning our bodies with food that make us sluggish and sick. The irony of it is that our dreams aren't even as far away as they seem. Since the bar is set low across the board, the amount of spare potential we'd have to tap into to get that novel written and published isn't even that great. As an experiment, I took 2 days and did very little but still some work on my project Set to see how much of a novel I could write. I wrote 15,000 words in 2 days. This doesn't mean that we have to do everything to the point of excellence. I bought a violin and I'll never be good at it. I don't care enough and won't put in the time. I use it for 2-minute quasi-meditative breaks from programming. Same with working out. I'd like to put in the time and effort to become stronger, but my focus is limited, so I don't put much into that. I believe in balance, but not the same way that it's usually prescribed. I suggest picking 1 or 2 things where you're going to set your bar astronomically high. For me, it's Set and learning. I spend 10 to 12 hours a day working on Set and 2 to 3 on learning. You can say that eating healthy is up there too, but I'm not as strict and well-researched as some people are. For the rest of the things in your life, you can keep the bar low. In theory, it's a good idea to try to have everything set high, but with lack of focus, it's impossible to get anything done. Most people fantasize that they have high standards for all areas of their lives, but really have low standards for everything. It's far better to be honest with yourself and admit that you'll slack in many areas, but completely crush 1 or 2 at a time. You just listened to the post titled, Where the Bar is Set by Tynan of Tynan.com. And don't forget, Gusto offers modern, easy payroll, benefits, and HR to small businesses across the country. You don't want to wait. Get in touch now and get 3 months free when you run your first payroll. Just go to gusto.com/old. That's gusto.com/OLD. And that'll do it for today. Have a great day, a happy Friday, and I'll see you over the weekend where your optimal life awaits.